Drew, so just give us a thumbs up when you're live, okay?
Good afternoon. Welcome to Quigley House. We appreciate you joining us today as we gather to acknowledge that April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Together with the Clay County Sheriff's Office, we are highlighting the issue of sexual violence in Clay County. Sexual assault is an intimate crime that affects everyone. It discriminates against no one. When men, women, and children, as well as their families, are impacted forever, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men will experience sexual assault, many as children, who will then face lifelong challenges. Our hope today is that by talking about sexual violence, we prevent its secret existence. Quigly House works to support survivors through the process of healing, navigating the legal system, and becoming well-adjusted members of society. But we need everyone's help. If you or someone you know is experiencing sexual violence, please call our helpline at 904-284-0061. Quigley House serves all domestic violence and sexual assault survivors. We provide legal services through our Injunction for Protection program, safety planning, education, child welfare support, economic education, emergency shelter, sexual assault forensic examination, counseling, housing, and 24-hour helpline. We walk survivors through the entire process, working together with our community partners like the Sheriff's Office, the State Attorney's Office, and other local law enforcement. Today, we honor survivors, and we acknowledge their suffering. The greater goal is to prevent sexual violence altogether. We need everyone's help to make this possible. It may be as simple as sharing our social media posts and videos, sharing our helpline number, volunteering, supporting our events, and even shopping at our thrift store located on Blanding. If you have any questions regarding our services, please go to our website at www.quiglyhouse.org or visit us on social media. I'm grateful today to have the support of the Clay County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Cook with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, and thank you to Quigley House for the continued partnership to serve the citizens of Clay County. Sexual Assault Awareness Month brings attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and it does not know boundaries. The men and women of the Clay County Sheriff's Office work hard each and every day to combat this crime. Our dedicated members, both sworn and civilian, spend countless hours investigating and helping victims of sexual assault. The detectives in our Special Victims and Internet Crimes Against Children units have a job that isn't easy to stomach, but they do it every single day, and they do it well. They strive to seek justice for our victims and in many cases rescue them from chronically abusive situations. Our victims' advocates work countless hours to bring the support to victims throughout these difficult processes. We must continue to work together to educate our community about sexual violence prevention, the necessity of supporting survivors, and the obligation we all share to speak out against sexual violence and protect those who've been victimized. We're proud of the partnership we have with the Quigley House to bring these resources together and begin the healing, and looking forward to brighter days ahead to the victims of these terrible acts. As always, you can call 911 or you can call our non-emergency number 904-264-6512 with any information you have about a sexual assault or any other crime. If you have a tip on a crime, you can dial **tips, or you can leave a tip anonymously at claysheriff.com. Click on the Submit a Tip homepage. If we work together, prevention is possible. I join advocates in communities across the country in taking action to stop sexual assault.
Thank you, Sheriff Cook. Today, you see behind us the Clothesline Project, a project that was created to honor survivors of multiple crimes, including sexual violence, domestic violence, homicide, and childhood sexual assault. We plan to feature our Clothesline Project in its entirety during Victims' Rights Week on April 18th. Please notice that there are different colors in the clothesline, each representing one of the crimes stated. We look forward to people joining us during Victims' Rights Week. Please check our social media to be kept up on all the latest updates. We'll be celebrating different crimes throughout the week. We appreciate the Clay County Sheriff's Office for joining us today and the partnership that we've created. And we thank all of you and hope that you will help us join the mission to help prevent sexual violence in Clay County.
Ms. Rodriguez, can we ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Can we get your first and last name and your title?
Yes, I'm Jennifer Rodriguez. I'm the interim CEO for Quigley House.
Rodriguez ends in a Z.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about this issue of victims coming forward. This is historically one of the most difficult issues. Can you talk about that issue and what options victims have? Because many times they're scared or don't want to ruin their family.
Absolutely. Traditionally, it's been extremely difficult for survivors to come forward. And the reason being is because there's a culture that's been created in our society where the victims are challenged, they're questioned, and they're not believed. Oftentimes, that's because the perpetrator has created a narrative making that individual more vulnerable to the assault to begin with, but creating a scenario where they won't believed, and they groom them to believe that. Therefore, when survivors come forward, they automatically assume that whoever they're speaking to won't believe them. And that is a critical piece to working with survivors, is even if you don't understand, even if you have questions about the assault, maybe things don't make sense to you, believe them and refer them to the Quigley House or the Sheriff's Office.
Sheriff, can we ask you a question about reporting? You talked about people reporting it, maybe not the victims themselves, and what options you have if you suspect, and don't have proper information, but you see signs or hear a story. What are your options with law enforcement?
I think anytime anybody has any indication that violence or sexual abuse or any sort of abuse is happening, they can call our non-emergency number, 264-6512, and let our dispatchers know. And we can either send out a deputy to talk to them, or we can refer them to one of our detectives to talk to them by phone, and then we can start an investigation from there.
And if they're nervous about getting involved and it's a neighbor, it's a friend or something like that, do detectives kind of have the training to handle that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can handle investigations very discreetly, especially for complainants who want to remain anonymous. But at the end of the day, it's about protecting our most vulnerable populations here. And, if somebody does suspect any sort of abuse, they need to let us know, and we will work with them.
I'm sorry, Ms. Rodriguez, I have one more question.
Sure.
If that's okay, about your shirts?
Yes.
Where specifically will those be displayed, and can you tell me what those shirts signify?
They will be displayed here. Each of these shirts was created either by a survivor or a secondary survivor, so a family member, a spouse, a sibling, and they basically interpret the experience for the survivor.
And is this the headquarters in Greenville Springs, and then there are other spots?
Yes, so the location that we're at today is our administrative building. This is our sexual assault center. This is where we conduct the sexual assault forensic exams. And then we have a confidential location, which is our domestic violence shelter.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We really do. Yes.
Mask on.
Oh yeah, mask on. It feels so different because we're outside, like you don't need your mask.
Hey, Laura, can you snap a quick photo for us?
Yes.